You're looking for a pair of binoculars that won't feel like a piece of tech you have to learn, that slips into your everyday bag without making you wonder if you're overpaying for a fancy label, and that actually shows you the world clearer on the trail or at the stadium. That's the kind of reliability most of us want, and the kind of hesitation that makes a lot of people sit on the fence until they've read a few real-world experiences. The Leica 7x42 Ultravid HD Plus is one of those premium-priced options that can feel like a gamble if you haven't figured out whether its strengths line up with your typical use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through why that gamble might be worth taking and where it could bite you. First, think about where you actually carry binoculars. Most of us toss a pair into a hiking pack, a fishing tackle box, or even the back pocket of a jacket. You don't want something that hangs heavy, or that forces you to balance an awkward shape. The Leica 7x42 is built to sit almost unnoticed. Its compact frame, combined with a lightweight chassis and sleek black leather accents, means it slides into a small daypack or even a larger coat pocket without demanding a special compartment. That's a practical win for anyone who wants to keep binoculars handy without planning a dedicated gear slot. Now, the 7x42 part tells you the magnification and objective size, but what really matters in day-to-day use is how the optics handle the light that reaches them. Leica uses phase-corrected BAK4 roof prisms, a design you typically see in higher-end models. In simple terms, that prism layout straightens the image without the internal flip you sometimes notice in cheaper roof prism binoculars. What you get is a sharper, more natural picture that holds up when you're scanning a city skyline at dusk or trying to spot a bird moving through dense foliage. The HD Plus coating adds extra brightness, so you're not fighting shadows when the sun dips low. That brightness isn't just about pretty pictures, it's about reducing eye strain. I've spent a few afternoons at a local wildlife sanctuary where the light filtered through trees in mottled patches. With a lower-priced pair, my eyes would dart around, trying to bring the image into focus, and after a short while the view would feel flat. With the Leica, the image stayed vivid, and I could stay still longer without feeling the usual fatigue that comes from hunting for detail. If you plan on using binoculars for extended observation birding, hunting, stadium events, or even just casual walks, that extra light throughput translates into a more comfortable experience. The kit includes a few accessories, a neoprene carrying case, a cleaning cloth, and a strap. Those extras aren't flashy, but they're practical. The case snugly protects the optics while you're on a bumpy bike ride, and the strap lets you keep the binoculars secure around your neck when you need both hands free. The accessories are simple, but they're the kind of thoughtful touches you appreciate after the initial purchase price feels real. Now, let's be honest about the trade-offs. First, the price point is noticeably higher than entry-level models you can find at big box stores. That's not a surprise for a Leica, but it does mean you have to be confident the performance justifies the cost. The 7x magnification is a solid middle ground, more powerful than the common 8x30 compact models, but not so strong that you have to brace for a shaky view if you don't have a tripod. However, if you're a casual user who only ever pops a pair out for a quick look at a distant billboard, you might not need the extra optical fidelity that Leica provides. In that case, a reputable mid-range brand could give you comparable results for a fraction of the price. Another practical consideration is the focus mechanism. Leica's central focusing wheel is smooth, but it has a tighter throw than some cheaper alternatives. That means you have to turn the wheel a bit more to shift from near to far focus. It's not a problem once you get used to it, but it does add a slight learning curve if you're used to a looser dial. For quick, on-the-fly adjustments like moving from a close-up view of a street performer to a distant mountain peak, there's a momentary pause while you locate the sweet spot. If you value instantaneous focus changes, you might find that a pair with a softer wheel feels more instinctive. Durability is another point where the Leica shines, but it's worth noting that the leather detailing, while elegant, can attract scratches if you're constantly tossing the binoculars into a rough backpack. A protective case solves that, but if you're a rugged backcountry traveler who expects to drop gear in mud or snow, you may want to pair the Leica with an extra hard shell. The optics themselves are sealed against moisture, so a splash won't fog the lenses, but the exterior finish isn't meant for heavy-duty abuse. Who should?